Today I chose to speak about the Wikipedia page entitled LGBT Rights Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual, Transgender. And I chose this page because it speaks to me personally. For start, my brother just came out as gay, and as I have multiple friends and family members that identify within one of those identities, I have heard them face individual problems due to the overall view of why homosexuality is taboo in our culture. I focus my research on the page LGBT history and the LGBT rights by country or territory so I could have a better understanding of why people who identify in this community may face injustices in the historical contents that make up the beliefs of homosexuality today. While researching, I learned that 28 countries recognize same sex marriages. Of the 28 countries, not all provide protection for anyone engaging in a sexual act with the same sex. 6 of the countries utilize the death penalty as a punishment. Those countries are Afghanistan, Brunei, Mauritania, Pakistan, and United Arab Emirates. As I was researching, many countries will prosecute with death and do not provide equal rights for those individuals. For example, the majority of people who identify in this community experience hate crimes and violence because of who they are. Some of these laws that include basic rights such as the right to speech, right to employment, housing, parenting laws, and etc. While researching the history of LGBT laws, I learned many reasons why homosexuality could be taboo in cultures today. For example, in my research, I learned that sodomy laws were frowned upon of the Christianity Society in BC. What does this law mean? It means that partners who are engaging in same-sex were disowned, prosecuted, and even executed simply because of who they were. The Greeks, however, may have disagreed. They had some controversial laws and were pleased about this. For example, Aristotle's Wikipedia page, LGBT rights by country or territory, has argued that women were beautiful, but that the men preferred to sleep together. As reading this, it struck me to learn that in history, the Greeks, especially during Aristotle, that same-sex couples were considered to be sexual and erotic. This shift was shifted throughout the time and throughout the world, depending on the world of Christianity and the Central world. When further researching, I began to focus my shift on ancient Rome beliefs. What was interesting to me was where I read about the Roman law during the time of the 2nd century BC. It stated that the rape of a male citizen as early of the 2nd century BC, when a ruling was issued in a case that may have involved a man of same-sex orientation, it was ruled that even a man who was disreputable and questionable had the same right as other citizens not to have his body subjected to forced sex, according to the Wikipedia page. After reading this, it was fascinating to learn that the Romans during this time recognized same-sex couples, especially people who identified as gay, and how society then advocated for these people who identified within this community. Although we learn that this history is complex and far too hard to explain in this amount of time, it is simply important to know that because of religion and the location of the world, many people have differences about sex and LGBT rights. However, when I continued to read, I learned that in 1790, according to Wikipedia, we saw a shift again. We saw that modern Europe happen, and the expansion of then, we saw that gays and people who identified in that community began to experience extreme prosecution, and they created a shift change in the United States during the 18th and 19th century. After reading the history about modern Europe views, with their extreme views on homosexuality, it helped me understand why the United States had extreme negative beliefs about homosexuality, because Europe of this time was a superpower. Many countries wanted to become like them and implement their views on issues. This forever creative view and shifted the culture of sexuality and impacted a culture of hatred towards people who identify in this community. Overall, I know the history could be confusing for some. It makes sense of why the United States and why so many other countries took a religious bias and biased views on LGBTQ rights, especially for gay rights, and why many cultures and countries implement extreme, inhumane laws towards LGBTQ people. Thank you.